Welcome to the Monster Slayer Bestiary, where we hypothesize how to fight pop culture's greatest monsters. I'm your host Red King, and today we'll be talking about the most infamous horde creature put to screen, zombies. Now zombies are well known as being some of the easiest monsters to kill in fiction. They are not dangerous because of their physical strength, but their strength in numbers. A single zombie is only as strong as the average person, but are usually weaker. This is why this video won't be just how to beat a zombie, but how to beat a zombie apocalypse and rebuild civilization. Now let's first talk how to kill a zombie. Zombies range wildly in terms of strength between media, from the walkers of The Walking Dead, to the infected in 28 Days Later, to the absolute hell no of the Zeeks from World War Z. For the sake of this video, we will be talking about zombies that can run like the infected from 28 Days Later, but have the intelligence of walkers. First thing is protection. Most zombies don't gain enhanced strength, so we wouldn't need to worry about a stronger bite force. This means that a nice leather jacket, like mine pictured here, would be about the minimum you would want. Pair that with a pair of leather pants, durable hiking boots, and a helmet of some kind, and you've got the perfect zombie killing fit. Now for the weapon. Every other guide on the internet about killing zombies will always tell you how using a gun isn't a good idea because it can run out of ammo and will draw more zombies. Because of that, most non-flexible melee weapons would be perfect, as they can't run out of ammo and they are mostly silent. Personally, I would choose an arming sword like this, but that's just because my autistic ass is a sword addict. You could choose a rusty pipe like Sabo from One Piece and it would get similar results. A bow or a crossbow would be the best options for if you needed range. The main problem is that all of these weapons are tools, and they can and will break, so learning the necessary maintenance to draw out how long you can use them is essential. Now, aiming for the head when attacking is crucial, but don't be afraid to simply dismember a zombie so it doesn't chase you. What I've been talking about so far is what to do if you want to kill a zombie, but that isn't the best way to deal with zombies. The best way to deal with a zombie is the same way to deal with any attacker in a self-defense class. Just run away. No, really. Assuming we have the faster running zombies and that they run at the same speed of a human, if you are somewhat in shape, you could still outrun most zombies. And if you can't outrun a zombie, then your gear should be enough to disable it, then make like an Iron Maiden song. You should avoid dealing with zombies the same way zombie media avoids calling a zombie a zombie. Now that I've talked about how to deal with zombies in an emergency scenario that you are forced to fight them, let's talk about how you would survive in the world. This is where we consult the rule of threes for survival, which go as such. You can survive 3 minutes without air, you can survive 3 hours in a harsh environment, you can survive 3 days without drinkable water, and you can survive 3 weeks without food. These are not strict rules, but they give good guidelines as to what you should prioritize in a survival situation. Assuming you aren't drowning, we don't need to focus on the first rule. Next is shelter. Now, an underground bunker would be a good zombie hideout, as if built deep enough, you wouldn't have to worry about zombies breaking down your walls and getting access to you. Make an entrance raised off the ground with a retractable ladder, and you wouldn't have to deal with any zombies when leaving. The issue with a bunker is that it's difficult and noisy to make, so trying to make it during the apocalypse is a good way to get swarmed and killed. So unless you have the foresight, a bunker won't be an option. The next best option would be a boat or floating base. These are easy to obtain as long as you are near a large body of water, but the downside is access to resources. It's pretty hard to get any sort of medical supplies or food when you're stranded in the middle of the ocean. Food is available as long as you know how to fish, but it won't always have all the nutrients you need for your body. Water can also be scarce if you are in the middle of the ocean, as none of the water there is drinkable due to the salt content. But if you're in a freshwater lake, the water should be safe to drink as long as you filter it out to make sure there's no dirt or bacteria in it. There's also a small issue involving weather. If you're on the ocean, sea, or really big lake, then storms and harsh weather are almost guaranteed. But even with these issues, a boat is the best option for a non-doomsday prepper. Next is water. If you are surrounded by salt water, you'll need to desalinate the water. You can do this by placing your container of water in a larger container and covering both of them in cling film, then leaving it in the sun and waiting for the water to evaporate and run off of the cling film. If you are in a freshwater lake, you'll need a way to filter the water to make sure it's drinkable. To make a water filter, get sand, gravel, charcoal, small rocks, and 2 containers like a bottle. One to hold the filter system and one to hold the filtered water, and then some kind of fabric. Add the fabric to the bottom layer of the filter to stop other materials from falling out. Then layer the materials you gathered in the container with the charcoal on the bottom, then the sand, then gravel, and finally the rocks on top. Then pour the water onto the rocks and catch it in the bottom container. After the water has been filtered, it shouldn't have any more debris. Finish the process by boiling the filtered water, and now it's perfectly safe to drink. Next on the list is food. For most survival scenarios, food and water are the biggest issues, but at least water can be collected raw. For food, you'll need to prep it. If you can get the underground bunker, then hydroponics would be the best system, as they can be grown underground with UV light and without soil. It's a little too complicated to go into detail here, but there's a link on how to do it in the description if you're interested, as it was quite interesting research. A system to cultivate fish, as pictured here, would also be perfect, but these are both very expensive to make and maintain, so the average person wouldn't be getting these. The best option would be to scavenge for food. Now, what to scavenge is determined by when in the apocalypse it is. Early on, it would be best to scavenge perishable foods, such as meat and dairy, as without anyone working power stations, the necessary electricity to power refrigerators will stop working, and it will cause the food to rot and become inedible. So getting that food while you can is vital. If it is later in the infection, such as a few weeks and beyond, the non-perishables such as canned foods are the best, as they stay for a long time and will make sure that you can stay fed consistently between food runs. However, these are only for the short term. What happens when you find a place without zombies that you can settle down in? This is where you make sure to grab seeds and farming books while you scavenge. Learning how to farm or helping others learn how to farm will be very important for the recreation of civilization. Now, getting a form of electricity would also be vital and speed up the civilization growth 100-fold. Now, coal and oil generators would work in short term, but once you use up those resources, it will be incredibly hard for you to get, as I doubt you know where the nearest coal mine is to you. This is where reusable energy comes into play. Solar panels, wind turbines, and water wheels will give you a passive energy without needing to find resources to fuel them. Now, the materials to make them will not be easy to get to your home base, but a strong truck and the right tools could steal solar panels off someone's roof. A water wheel can be made out of wood and will put you near a source of water, which you need anyway for the farming and drinking. There is also a ton of extra stuff involving copper wires, magnets, and I am not qualified to talk about any of it. Just watch Dr. Stone and you should get a good idea of what you need. Side note, I found a channel called How to Make Everything. I found their content while researching and they're amazing. Go visit them, as they are a much better channel than me. Now, notice how for the past sections I've been talking about rebuilding without mentioning any zombies or zombie defenses. This is because zombies are walking corpses, and thankfully for every survivor of the apocalypse, corpses decay. Due to a Google search that has probably put me on a watch list, I found that corpses have 5 stages of decay: fresh stage, bloat stage, active stage, advanced stage, and dry stage. The fresh stage means the body is still mostly intact and the decay hasn't fully set in yet. The bloat stage is when the bacteria in the digestive system starts to eat the inside of the body and causes the body to bloat and smell. The active stage is where the tissues of the body start to decay and insects start to infect it. The advanced stage is where most of the remains are dissolved and decayed. The dry stage is where only the bones remain and they will collapse in on themselves. Now, thankfully for us, zombies wouldn't be able to move properly after the active stage, so any survivor would just have to make it to that point. Now, how fast a body decays isn't an exact science. There are many factors that affect it, but I've found sources that say active decay happens between 5 and 11 days. Thankfully, this process will be sped up due to the zombies constantly moving around in the sun and weather, which can speed up decay and mean we can assume the lower estimate on those numbers. So basically, you just need to survive a week or two and most zombies will be dead without the need for you to get involved, and you can go rebuild society by pulling your best Dr. Stone impression. Anyways, that was how to beat a zombie. If you have any ideas as to what mythical creature I should theorize about next, then comment it down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, this is Red King, signing off.